If you've ever wondered why you react the way you do, why you can't relax, why you absorb everyone's emotions, why you shut down when things get intense, your moon sign has been trying to tell you, but no one's explained it through the lens of your nervous system until now. Hi, I'm Desiree. I'm a modern astrologer training in Jungian Psychology and Somatic Trauma Work, and I use astrology as a map for understanding how our nervous systems were wired in childhood. This isn't your typical sun sign horoscope. This is depth psychology meets astrology and nervous system science. In this video, I'm covering all 12 moons. I'll explain the pattern, where it came from, and what it looks like in your body. So grab your birth chart. If you don't know your moon sign, I'll link a free calculator in the description. Now let's get into it. And if you find your moon sign and this resonates, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, let's get started. Aries Moon, you're always activated. Your nervous system default setting is fight mode. Rest feels dangerous. You have this constant urgency, this need to be in motion because stillness feels like vulnerability. This usually comes from an environment where you had to fight to be seen, fight to be heard, fight for your needs. Maybe you had to protect yourself or others. Maybe gentleness got you hurt. So your body learned, stay ready, stay activated, stay sharp. This lives in your jaw, clenching, grinding your teeth, especially at night. Tight shoulders, always braced. Your body is literally ready for battle, even when there's no threat. That adrenal fatigue you feel, your nervous system has been running on high for years. An unintegrated Aries Moon can be reactive, impulsive, picking fight because conflict feels safer than intimacy. Anger becomes your default because vulnerable emotion feels too exposing. Healing for Aries Moon is learning that your anger is valid and you can choose when to use it. Teaching your body that rest isn't a weakness, it's how you sustain your fire long term. Somatic work that can help. Breath work to downregulate, practices that honor your need for physical release without staying in fight mode. Taurus Moon. You seek safety through control and stability. Change feels like a threat to your nervous system. You need predictability, routine, tangible security because chaos once overwhelmed you. Often this comes from early instability, financial insecurity, or inconsistent caregiving. It could have also been an unpredictable environment. Your nervous system learned that if you can control your environment, you can control your safety. So you grip tight. Shows up as rigidity, tight neck, stiff lower back, clenched jaw. Your body literally holds on. You might have digestive issues because your gut is holding tension. Stubbornness isn't just mental, it's physical. Your body resists change at a cellular level. Unintegrated Taurus Moon can become possessive, stubborn, to the point of self-sabotage, using material security as a substitute for emotional safety. You might hoard resources, relationships, control, because letting go feels like dying. Healing is learning that flexibility doesn't equal chaos. Your nervous system can handle more than you think. Grounding that isn't rigid. So think yin yoga, not just holding poses. Practicing small releases of control in safe environments. Gemini Moon. Your mind never stops. Overthinking, analyzing, mentally cataloging everything. Your nervous system uses thinking as a regulation strategy. If you stop thinking, danger just might catch you off guard. This often comes from an environment where you had to think your way to safety. Maybe you had to read the room constantly, anticipate needs, talk your way out of situations. Your brain became your survival tool. This lives in your head, like literal headaches, migraines, tension at the base of your skull. Your mind is so loud your body can't get a word in. You might have trouble sleeping because your brain just won't shut down. That exhaustion you feel isn't from doing too much, it's from thinking too much. An unintegrated Gemini Moon will intellectualize emotions to avoid feeling them. You can talk about feelings without ever dropping into your body to feel them. Scattered energy, starting things and not finishing, using information as a shield against intimacy. Healing is learning to drop from your head and into your body. Your thoughts are valid and they're not the only source of wisdom. body scans, practices that require you to be present, like dance or martial arts, learning to tolerate the discomfort of not knowing. Cancer Moon, you absorb everyone's emotions like they're your own. Your nervous system can't distinguish between where you end and others begin. You feel responsible for other people's emotional states because that's how you learn to survive. Often you grew up being the emotional caretaker. Maybe you had to regulate parents' emotions, take care of siblings, be the one who held everyone together. Your body learned that other people's emotions are your emergency. This lives in your chest and stomach, tightness in your heart, nausea where others are upset, physically feeling other people's emotions. You might have digestive issues, especially when stressed, because you're literally trying to digest emotions that aren't even yours. An unintegrated Cancer Moon becomes enmeshed, codependent, using caregiving as a way to feel needed because being needed feels like love. You might struggle with resentment because you give from depletion, not overflow. Healing is learning energetic boundaries. Other people's emotions are information, not your responsibility. Your empathy is a gift when it's boundaried. Grounding, learning to sense where your field ends and practicing saying, that's not mine to carry. Leo Moon, you need to be seen to feel real. Validation isn't just vanity for you, it's how your nervous system confirms you exist and you're safe. When people witness you, you relax. When they don't, you panic. This comes from being under witness as a child. Maybe you were invisible in your family. Maybe your achievements weren't acknowledged. Your brightness was dimmed. Your nervous system learned, if I'm not seen, I'm not safe. So your attention became survival. This lives in your heart and solar plexus, that ache in your chest when you feel ignored, the collapse in your core when you're not recognized. You might hold your breath when you're not getting attention, like you're literally shrinking yourself. An unintegrated Leo Moon performs for validation, becomes dependent on external recognition to feel worthy, can't regulate without an audience. You might become dramatic or attention-seeking, not because you're shallow, but because your nervous system is dysregulated. Healing is learning to witness yourself. Your need for recognition is valid, and you can provide some of that mirroring for yourself. Self-validation isn't selfish. Heart-opening practices where you celebrate yourself even when no one's watching. Moon. You're in constant scan mode. Hypervigilance is your baseline. Your nervous system is always looking for what's wrong, what needs fixing, what could go wrong. You can't relax because your body thinks something's always about to fall apart. Often you grew up in chaos or instability, and you learned that if you stay vigilant, you can prevent disaster. Maybe you had to be the responsible one, the one who noticed everything. Your perfectionism isn't about high standards, it's about survival. It's everywhere. Tension headaches, tight shoulders, digestive issues, chronic muscle tension. Your body is literally braced for threat 24/7. That exhaustion you feel, it's from being on guard constantly. An unintegrated Virgo Moon becomes critical, controlling, can't delegate because no one does it right. Anxiety becomes your identity. You might struggle with health anxiety because your body's stress signals are constant. Healing is teaching your nervous system that not everything is an emergency. The world won't fall apart if you rest. Progressive muscle relaxation, practices that help you discern real threat from perceived threat, and radical rest. Libra, you're a chronic people pleaser, but it's not about being nice, it's a Fawn response. Conflict feels so dangerous to your nervous system that you'll abandon yourself to keep the peace. Harmony isn't a preference, it's a survival strategy. This often comes from an environment where conflict meant danger, maybe violence, emotional withdrawal, love being conditional on your agreeableness. You learned that your safety depended on keeping everyone happy, so you became a master at reading the room and adjusting yourself accordingly. This lives in your throat, swallowing your truth, literally biting your tongue, tension in your jaw from holding back what you really want to say. You might have chronic sore throats or thyroid issues because you're suppressing your authentic voice. An unintegrated Libra Moon loses itself in relationships, can't make decisions without external input, becomes passive-aggressive because you can't express anger directly. You might attract conflict-prone people because you're trying to learn what you can't do yourself, which is set boundaries. Healing is learning that conflict isn't a catastrophe. You can disagree and still be safe. Your voice matters as much as everyone else's. Throat chakra work, literally practice saying no out loud. Anger work, learning healthy aggression. Scorpio Moon, you trust no one. That's not paranoia, that's your nervous system remembering betrayal. You feel everything intensely, but show nothing because vulnerability was punished, so you became a vault. Betrayal, usually early and deep. A parent, a trusted person, someone who should have protected you, but didn't. Your nervous system learned that letting people in means getting hurt. So you learn to feel everything alone, in the dark, where no one can weaponize it. This lives in your lower belly, pelvic floor, root chakra, deep, deep tension that never fully releases. You might have issues with intimacy, not just emotionally, but physically. Body literally guards against penetration of any kind. An unintegrated Scorpio Moon becomes controlling, manipulative, tests people to confirm they'll betray you. You create the very abandonment you fear. Intensity becomes obsession. You might use your emotional depth as a weapon. Healing is learning that vulnerability with the right people is strength, not stupidity. Your intensity is power when it's not weaponized. Pelvic floor release work, learning to trust your body's yes and no, working with a somatic therapist on betrayal trauma. Sagittarius Moon, escape through optimism, philosophy, constant motion. Your nervous system avoids heavy emotions by staying in expansion mode. If you keep moving, keep learning, keep seeking, you never have to sit with what hurts. Often this comes from an environment where sadness or heaviness just wasn't allowed. Maybe you had to be the light, the optimistic one, or maybe staying in your feelings meant drowning. So you learn to outrun them. This can now show up as restlessness. You can't sit still, leg bouncing, needing to move, travel, go, go, go. When you're forced to be still, anxiety spikes. You might have issues with your hips and thighs. Holding the tension of wanting to run. An unintegrated Sagittarius Moon becomes spiritually bypassing, using philosophy or travel to deal with or avoid dealing with real feelings. Everything happens for a reason becomes a way to skip grief. Commitment issues because settling down means feeling what you've been running from. Healing is learning that expansion includes contraction. You can honor your need for freedom and sit with difficult emotions. Your optimism is a gift when it's not a defense. Grounding exercises, practices that help you stay present with discomfort. Capricorn Moon, you freeze when emotions show up. Your nervous system learned that feelings equal weakness, so you shut down completely. You perform competence and control while your emotional world is locked in a vault. Often you grew up having to be the adult too soon. Maybe you had to take care of others. Be the responsible one. Be strong. Emotions were a luxury you just couldn't afford. So you learned to amputate your feelings and just function. This lives in your spine, shoulders, knees, anywhere that holds structure. You're rigid, literally. Chronic pain in areas that bear weight. You might have issues with bones, joints, teeth. Your body is holding up the world, and it's exhausted. An unintegrated Capricorn Moon becomes emotionally unavailable, a workaholic, uses achievement to avoid intimacy. You might be terrified of being seen as weak, so you never ask for help. Depression is common because frozen emotions eventually have to thaw, and when they do, it floods. Healing is learning that emotions don't make you weak. Suppressing them does. You can be competent and vulnerable at the same time. Releasing the armor, like getting myofascial release, learning to cry again, practices that soften the spine. Aquarius Moon, you disconnect when things get emotionally intense. Your nervous system thinks emotion equals danger, so you go into your head. You intellectualize, detach, observe from a distance. You're the anthropologist of your own life. Often emotions were chaotic, overwhelming, or punished in your childhood. Maybe you had to dissociate to survive. Your brain became your safe place. Thinking about feelings became safer than actually feeling them. This can show up as dissociation. You're not fully in your body. You might feel floaty, disconnected, like you're watching your life through glass. Cold hands and feet, not grounded in your body. An unintegrated Aquarius Moon becomes emotionally detached to the point of coldness. You can analyze your feelings, but not actually feel them. Intimacy is terrifying because it requires presence. You might prioritize ideas over people because ideas can't hurt you. Healing is learning to drop from your head into your body and stay there, even when it's uncomfortable. Your intellect is brilliant and your body has wisdom too. Anything that brings you into your body, dance, cold water immersion, breath work that keeps you present. Pisces Moon, you have no boundaries. Your nervous system absorbs everything. Other people's pain, collective suffering, energy from the room. You're like a psychic sponge. And when it gets too much, you dissociate. You escape into fantasy, substances, anything to not feel the overwhelm. Often you grew up as the family empath, having to absorb everyone's unspoken pain, or you experienced trauma that was just too much to process. So you learned to leave your body. Fantasy became survival. This shows up as chronic fatigue because you're carrying energy that isn't yours. Immune system issues because you have no boundaries. That means no defenses. Addiction issues. So escaping from the overwhelm. You might feel spacey, ungrounded, kind of like you're floating. An unintegrated Pisces Moon becomes a martyr, addicted to suffering, uses substance or fantasy to avoid reality. Victimhood becomes your identity. You might struggle with reality because it's too harsh, so you create your elaborate inner worlds instead. Healing is learning that sensitivity is a gift when it's boundary. You can feel deeply and protect your energy. Not everything is yours to carry. Grounding. Daily energetic boundaries. So imagine a protective bubble and limiting your exposure to overwhelming stimuli. So here's what I want you to understand. Your moon sign isn't just your personality. It's your nervous system adaptation to survive. And the patterns that keep you alive as a kid, they might be keeping you stuck as an adult. But here's the good news. You can retrain your nervous system instead. You can integrate these patterns. Your chart shows where the work is. Somatic therapy, breath work, body-based exercises. These help you to update the programming. You're not doomed by your moon sign, you're informed by it. So, drop a comment below. What's your moon sign? And does this resonate? I'd love to hear from you. And if you want more content like this, astrology through a trauma-informed somatic lens, subscribe because I'll be posting weekly. Next video, we're talking about Chiron placements and where your core moon lives in your chart. You won't want to miss that. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.